Hello and welcome once again to Harrow Park Model Railway. Today we're looking at part 13 of Triang Locomotives, and as you can see we're looking at the Britannia Standard Class 7 mixed transport. 55 of the original ones were built between 1951 and 1954, and the last one was withdrawn in August 1968, which was Oliver Cromwell. The model, as you see here, was released in 1960, although my version, I believe, dates from 1962. 1961, it had see-through wheels, and 1962, spoke wheels on the tender. And I'll bring the locomotive forward. I'll uncouple the tender at the moment. And there's my version that I've got. That's the 1962 version. It's got see-through wheels, as I mentioned, and the banding is single orange instead of double orange like the very early ones. But it does have the smoke unit in it, and it's a good runner. So I'm delighted with this one. Now look at the underneath. Yellow dot in the middle there just means that it's been serviced. That's just for my own reference. Look at the front. So on the front there needs a bit of a dusting really. 7000, which is Britannia. I don't think we can see inside the cab. Tiny bit of cab detail there. You can just see it. Right. That's the first version of the Britannia, and we'll look at the tender, and here we see the tender, and it's got the spoke wheels, metal ladder on the back, and a high coal load. I've got although that one's fixed on. Oh, that one's not fixed on. Right. I've got another one here, which is the later version, and you can see differences where they changed the tender body. There's this like raised hump here, which is not on the early version. The coal load is totally different. You can see the difference in the coal load. This one's more flat, and this one's got that hump at the back. The fact that the later one does not have a ladder on it, that's because it's a stripped down one for the Iron Duke, which I'll mention in a minute. But this is the early version. Also, I'll put it on its side. There's these like filler caps here. I assume that on the original that would have been used for water, putting water into the tender. They're missing on the early version. So there was a few differences between the early version and the late version tenders. Only really noticeable when you put one up against the other. So that was the early Britannia, and that one ran until, how long did that one run for? I've written down the number. It was the R259. Wait a minute, I'll put it in the picture when I'm talking about it. So, and that was the R259, which kept this number until 1972, the R number. 1971 and 72, it was issued with additional names, 3 additional names. It would have been produced with a label with Britannia on it, but you had 3 additional names. And then from 1973, the multiple names was done away with, and it was then just called Oliver Cromwell. And this is the Oliver Cromwell. And the Oliver Cromwell was the first Ringfield motor where it's a tender driven. There's the tender. And the tender driven one is a It's a more of a glossy finish, and I like the early finish because it was more subdued and darker. But it's got the, I'll put it up close there. It's got the name as a paper sticker, and it destroys a bit of the effect. Really, I didn't really like that. But this particular one is unique because the tender drive broke, and I still wanted to run it. So I took the Ringfield motor out, which is dead weight anyway, and in the locomotive itself, I placed an XO4 motor. So this one is, although it's built as a Ringfield tender drive, this particular one is actually locomotive driven, and it really makes it go very, very fast. The wheels are different. So it's got the steel, the silver plated wheels, whereas the early version has got the darker sintered wheels. That's the Oliver Cromwell, and that one was changed the number on that one. That was the R552, and that one was out from 1973 to 1975. 75? Yeah, 1975. And then came another one with Britannia on it from 1976 to 79. But I don't have one of those because I've got the early Britannia, and I didn't want two with the same name on them. I do like to have, if I got several of the same type of locomotives, I do like to have them either with different running numbers or different names. The next one that came out was for mail order, and I'll just put that together, and it was a completely stripped down version of the Britannia, and it was used for mail order, and they put a different number on it, 70047, because that locomotive didn't in real life did not carry a name, and they wanted to strip it down completely. They didn't put the banding in there. If you look at the earlier version, the Oliver Cromwell, I'll bring that into view now. See, that one's got that keeps coming off. I have to fix that down somehow. Right. You've got the banding on there, but you look at that, and I'll hold it over the top. You see that one does not have the banding on it. It's not been painted at all, and it's purely a cut down version. Someone has put smoke deflectors on it, but I've left them on there. I could have taken them off, but I've left them on. Going into German then, the problem with this one was that because they produced it with no name, it was difficult to sell, and the people that they're going around selling the models or selling them to the shops and what have you, they said that it'd be easier to sell if it had a name. So they got some labels printed up as Iron Duke and put Iron Duke on this one, only to find out there was lots of complaints because the Iron Duke was actually numbered 70014, and that it was the wrong number for Iron Duke. So after a few of these were produced, this one with no name on it, that was in 1975, and in late 75, early 76, there's one with Iron Duke. I'll hold the name up close there, you can see Iron Duke with the correct number. There, I'll hold it up again, 70014, and that's a completely cut down version of the Britannia for cheap mail order. It runs very well. They all run very well actually, and that's my 4 locomotives that I've got in the Britannia class. That's this one, the 70014, which was Iron Duke, and then the 700 47, which was one of that historically did not carry a name. So that's relevant to my collection as well. Then there's the Oliver Cromwell, 1973. If I could just fit that tender on. It always happens when it's on camera, isn't it? So, and that's the Oliver Cromwell. And then my favourite one of all, and the one I like running the most, the early 60s Britannia. So, that was a quick look at my Britannia locomotives. Next week, we're going to be looking at a Southern locomotive. Also came out in 1960 in the catalogue. And that was the Southern Region L1. So we'll be looking at the L1, another tender locomotive, next week. Okay, thank you for having a look, and I really do appreciate that. Bye bye for now. Cheers.